Hi, boys and girls. It's me, Mrs. Pinsky, your media specialist, sitting here in our Clearwater Discovery Center. And I wanted to share with you a book called A Library Book for Bear. Okay, today we're going to read this, and then you're going to think about the kinds of books that you enjoy reading. You're going to tell me about those books, okay? And that'll help me figure out more about you guys as readers. So I can help you pick out things that you will like to read. All right, so here we go. A Library Book for Bear. Bear had never been to the library. He had 7 very nice books at home, 3 about kings and queens, 3 about honeybees, and 1 about pickles. Bear was quite sure he had all the books he would ever need. You think 7's enough books? I don't think so. One morning, Bear heard a tap, 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 tapping on his door. Here he is. He's having his morning coffee. Let's see who it is. When he opened the door, there was Mouse, small and gray and bright-eyed. "We are off," exclaimed Mouse with a happy wag of his whiskers. Bear frowned. He had agreed to go with Mouse to the library, but now he was quite sure it was a dreadful mistake. "Completely unnecessary," Bear announced. "I have all the books I need right here." Mouse. There he is, pointing out his books. "Oh, there are many delightful books in the library," Mouse assured him. Bear grumbled, but he had promised. So he buckled up his red roller skates and stepped outside, grabbing a basket for the books. Bear skated and Mouse rode in the basket to the library. The wind rippled nicely through their fur. But when they got to the library, Bear didn't like how big it looked. "There are far too many books in there," he protested. "Most excessive." "Oh no, it's quite exciting," Mouse said, leading Bear through the tall doors. The picture's going a little fuzzy. Let's see if I can get it. There he is. See him? Yeah. In the library were more books than Bear had ever thought there could be. He quickly found a tucked away corner, but even here there were lots and lots of books. Terribly extravagant. Bear's voice was a little loud. So when we're in the library, we try not to be too loud because it distracts others from reading or from finding books that they like to read. So maybe Bear doesn't know that. It doesn't seem like he goes to the library very often. "I shall find you the perfect one," Mouse said quietly in his library voice. "What about pickles?" commanded Bear. After all, he only had 1 of those. But Mouse had whisked away. Mouse came back with the thick green book. Bear opened it. "Rocket ships? Ridiculous!" Bear's voice was getting louder. "A good book about pickles is all I require." "Remember, quiet in the library," murmured Mouse as he scurried off. He soon returned with a tall yellow book. "I am not interested in wooden canoes." Bear's voice was even louder. "Quiet voices in the library," Mouse reminded him. He doesn't like that one, and he doesn't like that one. He's being very picky. My voice is always quiet, Bear shouted. I will find my own book. I can assure you that pickles are quite interesting. Mouse didn't look so sure, but Bear quickly spotted a blue book with a pickle on the spine, and Mouse sprang up the shelf to get it for him. There it is. Inside were pictures of pickles. The pickles had little fairy wings. They were dancing with petunias. No dancing pickles, Bear roared. Shh, said a voice. Uh-oh, who do you think that voice is? Bear peeked around a bookshelf. There sat a librarian with a cluster of youngsters gathered around her. The librarian smiled, but a mother squirrel squished an angry finger against her lips, and an old raccoon said sternly, "Quiet in the library." Bear turned back with a huffy sniff. I know when I'm not wanted, he told Mouse. I want to go home. Surely at least one book, Mouse began, but Bear cut him off. I have all the books I need. He looked quite certain. Then we're off, said Mouse, but his whiskers didn't wag this time. Not very happy. Bear stood stock still. He was listening carefully to a voice on the other side of the bookshelf. So the very brave bear began to inch his way toward the treasure chest, the voice was saying. I'm ready, began Mouse. Shh, exclaimed Bear. It's just getting to the good part. But you said, quiet voices in the library, Bear bellowed. Now he's getting interested, isn't he? Mm-hmm. This time the librarian got up and looked around the bookshelf at Bear. Bear stood very still and quiet, as if he had been still and quiet all along. Would you like to join story time? The librarian asked. Bear glanced at Mouse. We'd love to have you, said the librarian. Bear and Mouse scooted around the shelf and found 2 empty chairs. The librarian began to read again. Bear lifted the lid to the treasure chest, and inside, the librarian paused. Mouse and Bear strained forward. I think he's really interested now. Inside, she said, was a mound of pickle slices, and each shining slice was made of diamonds and gold, and everyone shouted, hooray for the very brave bear. And then she said, the end. Bear stared dreamily into space for a moment. Then he looked over at Mouse and announced, as I said, pickles are most interesting. Indeed, said Mouse. So that book was about pickles. Later, Mouse rode in the basket with 7 new books. There were 2 about wooden canoes, 2 about rocket ships, 2 about teapots. So how many is that? Let's count. Okay, so 2 about wooden canoes, 2 about rocket ships, so 2 plus 2 is 4, and then 2 about teapots, that's 6, and he had 7 books. So what do you think the last book was about? And one called The Very Brave Bear and the Treasure of Pickle Island, which Bear read to Mouse that very same day. So it was about pickles. All right, boys and girls, you're gonna click on the next page. We know what kinds of things Bear likes to read about. I wanna know what you wanna read about. So when you go on to the next page, I want you to fill out that form telling me all the different types of things you like to read. And then if you wanna do a little bonus activity for fun, go on to the pages after that, and you can have some creativity fun with Bear, okay? All right, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye, guys.